I don't know. So maybe that's something that I think that I have gotten that people think like, oh, you're a bigger guy. I know you like to eat. And I'm like, actually, no, just give me this one regular meal.
What's good people? I'm OBO, and in case you didn't know, I'm the G in LGBTQ, and you're watching It's Just Not Adding Up. So get in here and act like you got some sense. We're about to create some space.
So, no fats, no fems.
No fat.
So,
some fat, some thin.
So I want to dive in because it's been like a topic I've seen a lot. I talk about this often. I skipped the app phase because of my shame, and so I didn't see any of the bios, all the things. But I have heard language centered around people saying I don't do fat men, I don't do effeminate men, but they're not celibate or abstinent, so somebody's doing it. Right. And so what are your thoughts about the whole concept?
I think for me, I've never really experienced that personally. Like going into like, I have been on apps before, but like even guys who are putting that on their profile aren't my kind of guy anyway. Like to even think that you could put like, I don't know, like if it's just an unspoken thing, let it be an unspoken thing. But to think that you were gonna put in your profile no fat and no fam, I don't know. Like I just never wanted those guys. Like I can only like what likes me, and if it doesn't like me, I can't like it back. Like my body won't let me like it back.
Do you identify as a preference or a prejudice?
I identify the thought of not wanting a fat or feminine guy as a preference, but I identify it, putting it on like a platform or putting it like in a bio as ignorance a little bit. Not even ignorance. I don't know. Maybe it's just like I think it's a tasteless thing to do.
Same.
Just don't respond back.
That's about, you know what I mean? Because there's some skinny guys you probably don't want either, and just you ignore that. Why not just ignore the people you don't want?
Right.
I don't understand that part. So within your size, have you ever felt uncomfortable coming into the gay space? Like acting in sexuality? Was it tied to sexuality, or was it tied to your own personal view of your body? What?
Not to be honest. I think I've seen people where they say like weight and all of that stuff is a highlighted component in the community. But for me, being from like Atlanta and being around like
close to like I'm thick.
Yeah, like being around like, and even when I think of like, I relate a lot to like the heterosexual community because I didn't have a lot of like gay examples growing up, and I grew up around like big guys, so I seen like my parents and my aunts and my grandparents like be in love with bigger guys.
When I was younger and coming into the space, a few of my first interactions were with bigger guys.
Right.
And people, I would tell some friends of mine, whatever, and they was, oh, you a chubby chaser, right? And in my mind, it was like, I don't know that I was a chubby chaser as much as I wasn't unattracted to bigger guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't know that I've ever been called like a skinny chaser by liking thinner men. You know what I mean? So like, it's almost like we have to categorize the people who like bigger men because it's something that's not normative, and in a lot of spaces, it's, like it's people like big guys.
But I think like on the flip side of that, like a lot of bigger guys don't like other bigger guys. Like I think that's a real thing. Like my friend, he likes bigger guys. He's a bigger guy, but I've never dated anybody bigger than me.
Is that by just happenstance or?
I think kind of like both, like by choice. Just because like the guys that, I guess I would be like a no fat, no feels kind of guy. I guess I think I would kind of be like the same thing just because it's like, when I think the bigger you are, there's certain stuff doesn't look the same.
What do you mean?
So like I don't want to see like a big guy like, I don't
like what? What does that mean?
Like too overly feminine. And I think if we're talking about personality traits and if we're talking about characteristics, you can be who you want to be.
Okay.
But I think people have a right to say that to me isn't attractive to me. Like I'm into like butch queens.
What does that mean?
So it's kind of like not too.
Every
like,
time I try to get the definition of a butch queen, I get 5 different definitions.
Right. So for me, it's kind of like not feminine, not masculine, masculine.
I'm not fem, and I ain't masculine. But I'm just like, I'm like, hey, what's up?
Just like in the line somewhere. And I honestly think that everybody has feminine traits. Even straight guys have feminine traits.
For sure.
So I'm not saying that I don't want to. I like a guy to be gay. Like when I look at you, I want to know that you're gay.
This one has a little sweetness to it.
I want you to be able to be gay or be whatever around me. I want to have fun. Like I'm not into this super like overly masculine community type of situation. But I don't want to see a big 6'5" guy like carrying a purse and like being like real, like your parents would be like straighten up, like don't hold your hand like that. Like,
but you don't want to see it, you don't want to date it.
Neither one.
I'm not laughing with you. No.
I think I don't want to date it, definitely. And if I see it, it's definitely something I'm like, okay.
Jari, no. What is this? No.
Okay, should we take that out?
I mean, it's your truth. I'm not mad at you, but no.
I just think that, I don't know. I just feel like I can see why people aren't into it. I think that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's wrong for them to be like that. I can see why people would not be into it. But that's for anything. That's for anybody. So for me, when it comes to like body type, I understand that I'm a thicker guy. I'm a bigger guy. So I'm always very conscious about like not looking sloppy. And I don't think that has anything to do with my size. I think you can look sloppy.
Never.
I'm saying your body type can look sloppy.
OBO can't.
No, I'm saying like, people can just be slouchy and not like, keep themselves up. I think that's a big thing. I think it stands out a little bit more when you're bigger.
Do you ever feel fetishized because of your weight?
Absolutely. I think even that's just from being a black man, I feel fetishized sometimes. Not even just because of my size, but definitely I feel like people want to like, I think people want to like feel you. People want to like be with you or they want to do that, but sometimes I don't know if they always see it like being much further than that. At least some of the guys that I've encountered. But there are a ton of guys that are like, that's daddy's height. Like, I want to be with him. Like, I want to like, I want that.
Wait, what?
I want that to be mine.
So do you position yourself around other bigger people? Like in the gay community, have you found yourself making community of other bigger men?
Yes and no. Like my core friends are all thicker guys. It's like 3 of us. They're all, or 3 or 4 of us. They're all thicker guys, but it's just us. Like they have like whole communities like Big Boy Pride or like these other communities that are like bigger guys. And I don't think we ever really cross over into that community.
Have you ever felt pressure to lose weight because of your sexuality?
Absolutely not. Like I've always understood that this was a sought after thing.
Oh, wow.
Like I always knew that guys wanted me for that. Like I always knew my power in this. No, but I literally always knew my power in it. And I always knew that like it separated me. And I will say I'm a 30-year-old guy now. So I understand that as a grown adult, guys view me differently than they did at 18. So maybe those thoughts came through my head at 18. At 30, they're nowhere in here. Like, I understand, like, I'm a sought-after guy.
What advice would you give to somebody who is 18, who's feeling a little self-conscious?
My advice to anybody would just be 18 or 30 or anybody, because I think people struggle with this no matter what age they are. To me, a guy is never this anyway. Like, to me, it's never their body, it's never their appearance, it's never any of that. Like, to me, a guy is all aura. It's all energy. So if you have good energy, you have, like, when OBO walks in the room, a lot of people are attracted to you probably based off of who you are when you walk in the room. I mean, the body may help, but that is never really like the ceiling thing anyway. I think your aura and your energy is bigger than anything. So for somebody that's 18 and struggling with body image issues, if you're struggling, that shows outwardly to people. So if you walk into a room and you're like, I'm Jari, like I'm me, I know I'm this, or whatever, not even that kind of cocky energy, but if you just know who you are, that exudes to other people. Or if you're just a genuinely good person, or if you like, have good personality, that's gonna lead before anything else do. Because it's like the people that are really into me are not into me because of my thickness. They also are not into me because of my thickness. They're not into me or into me because of who I am as a person, like what my values are, like what do I believe in.
But you say you're not dating nobody who's thick or feminine. So you're the problem.
No. I will date somebody. I said I haven't dated somebody that's thicker than me.
Yeah.
I love thick guys. Like I love ass. I love
that's right.
thighs. I love all of that. But
yeah.
And I have saw guys that are bigger than me that I was really into. They just aren't into me. And so what I normally attract is like slim, thick butch queens. And I love it there. But I love it there. I do. But I found like I found attraction in every body type, honestly.
Yeah.
I've seen guys where I'm like, oh, he's very attractive.
Yeah.
Because there's just something about him that's bigger than like his, with no pun intended, that's bigger than like his body that is attracting me to him. Like it's like his aura. Like if he's in the room and he's standing out, like or if he has something to say, or if he's like intellectual or something like that, or if he can dress or like different stuff like that is always like that stands out to me more than like a body type.
I don't think that discriminating against somebody based on their body is exclusive to the gay community, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I think that we have made this like thing of people needing to be perfect in a lot of ways, and I think body is just not excluded from that perfection space. For a lot of gay guys, we grew up thinking that we need to be perfect in all ways. So I think we're like our idea of perfect body is a certain archetype, and so we think about like that. But I think to your point, a lot of people, and I think this is a point of ignorance, but I think a lot of people don't care as much as they think they care about a lot of things that they care about. Like a lot of our like standards, a lot of our hard lines have a lot of caveats, a lot of exceptions, a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we say, oh, I'm not dating somebody who does this. I'm not willing to do that until you meet somebody you're willing to do the things for.
I don't care if a person is like, I like twins. Like that. But for me, if you're going to like me for something more than my body, because this can go up and down. Even if I lose weight, like, I need you to like me for, like, my heart and my mind, honestly. And I'm being serious because I feel like that's what you're going to lock in at.
Yeah.
Even if I lose some weight and I look even better physically to you, that can still shift the older I get. Like, it's going to shift, the older I get. So it's like you have to be invested into something bigger.
No pun intended.
Or more, than somebody's body.
I agree. I think we should definitely do that. I just think people tend to stop there. Cause I say all the time, I don't ever trivialize attraction. I need to be attracted to you. It's just that's not all of the pot. Right. I mean, sometimes we think of people who want to be attracted to somebody. Hey, buddy. We think of people who want to be attracted to somebody, and for some guys, it stops there. If you're not this thing, and even you can be a terrible person, blah, blah, as long as you are somebody I like to look at, we can make something shake for the next few months, years.
But I don't feel like I don't think that's wrong either. I think that is kind of like, I think for the person on the receiving end of that, that's good for you to know. So like, say for instance, if you didn't like thicker guys. Yeah. And I was trying to talk to you and you was like, nah, you ain't really my type.
Oh no,
that's so good for me because now I'm not wasting my time with you.
Agreed.
I'm not gonna like spend time trying to get you to like me, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's communication. Oh, it's this, or oh, it's my availability. No, it's just that he don't like the way you look.
No, I agree.
And that's okay for him to not like the way you look.
I agree. It's okay to not like the way someone looks. I just think that if the only thing you like about somebody is the way they look, that's not sustainable either.
Right, but so I feel like in the scenarios where people can go beyond how somebody looks is when they're in intimate spaces. So if you're like in like a group that links up, a community that links up, or like a church, or like work, or like, you go to bingo every Friday, whatever young people do. What do young people do?
Bingo?
Not bingo. I was trying to think of something that people do weekly where they can like converse and be in community with each other. But in those spaces, then it's like where you would initially, if you're just meeting me in the club, that's all you have. It's to say, oh, no, I don't like the way he looked, and keep it moving.
Thanks.
But if we're sitting down and we're talking, you might be like, oh, Jari actually is really cool. Because even I get that so much. Like, people are like, oh, he's always out, whatever. He's probably messy or this or that. But once we have a conversation, and then they're like, oh, damn, you're really a cool guy. Like,
I get that
really
too.
like.
Is it offensive for you?
No, because I understand I can't control it. I've learned to not do that to people because I've been done that way for so long.
Same.
With just having like followers on Instagram or anything, people are like, they have this preconceived notion of who I am.
Same.
So because I know how that feels, I intentionally don't do it to other people. I always wait till I meet them to be like, okay.
What do you think the stereotype of the preconceived notion is about people who are bigger?
About people who are bigger. I don't think it's this deep thing. I think it's just they're not attracted to that. Like, they don't want a bigger guy on top of them. They don't want to feel like controlled, or they don't want to feel like dominated. And I do think you have submissive bigger guys, but I just feel like it's just literally, if they're making a decision based off of the body type or the perception for the body type of a bigger guy, it's simply just something that doesn't turn them on or do.
You don't think there's a social assumption that the person's lazy, that they are gluttonous, that they are not taking care of themselves? Like, you don't think those are like social understandings of people who are bigger?
maybe that has never like formed in my head because I'm naturally this size. So I can not work out for a year or 2 years and eat everything in the world, and I'm going to be this size.
Oh wow.
Like, so I don't think that naturally when I look at bigger guys, like, oh, he's lazy.
I mean, I don't think it either, but I'm saying
I
socially.
do. I have saw some bigger guys. And I'm like,
Okay.
how did it?
Okay.
I'm not like a big eater or like a big foodie, so people are always expecting me to like know that I'm like. I don't like. I eat regular plates, like a regular plate, and that's it. Like I don't have a whole list of restaurants for you. What I feel like is so important with what you're doing, like with this kind of channel and this kind of space, is putting different scenarios in people's faces. So ultimately, we don't know, or people don't know, the differences of, body types or personalities or sexual orientation and all these different things. And so just to continue to have conversations, you see different people's perspective and you see different people experiences where they can say, okay, I don't agree with that, but I can see how people people think that or how people feel that.
My goal, honestly, is to make people feel comfortable and confident without having to be excellent. Like, we don't have to be perfect because we are gay. We don't have to be, all these things. But I think a lot of us felt like we already are dealing with the fact that we are gay. People don't like that. So let me make sure that all the other parts of me are so grand. And so we're seeing different kinds of gay guys that fit all the sides of the spectrum. I think all in all, we should did the declaration of our purposes, my personal opinion. I don't think it's necessary. I think, I'm trying to think of a moment when it is necessary. Maybe if you're like soliciting people in a grand scale, maybe. But in my mind, if I'm looking for an individual person, you and I will have that conversation. You'll come up to me, I'll come up to you, and then we'll iron that thing out. I don't need to yell it.
I think my opinion is if I'm going to meet you on the street, then just be tactful. Have a conversation with me, and if a thicker guy isn't your type, then as an adult, you should know how to steer the conversation away from it going anywhere further than that. But I don't necessarily think, because I think just saying there's an issue with saying no facts, no film is one thing, but I also feel that if you're on a platform like that where you would even have to put fat and films, I can kind of see like that's okay.
On an app?
Yeah. Just because everybody on the app isn't looking to hook up. But 90% of them are hooking up, if we're being honest.
So ignore the people who come at you who are fat or femme.
So, but I feel like for the people who are on the apps that are just looking to hook up, that weeds out the bull. Like, that weeds out all the extra stuff. That weeds out, like, I don't even want to keep having conversations with all these people who hit me up. I'm going to eliminate 10 messages from people who hit me up because they see exactly what I like. So that goes for anything. Some people are like, no fat, no femme. Some people are like, I only want twink. Some people are like, I only want raw. All this stuff, if you know that's what you like and you're on a hookup app, that's informative in that space. So I've never personally took offense to it for that reason because it's like, they just want to hook up. So if I know that I want to hook up,
when you put it that way,
if I know I want to hook up with a Puerto Rican twink, on my profile, I want to put only into Puerto Rican twinks.
I get that.
Because I just want to get on here and get off. I don't want to be on here like
literally
looking for love. Right. Get on and get right. I'm bringing them today with the,
I think I said this on a previous episode. I think it goes for anything. I don't think it's ever necessary to declare which even people ask you my type, they always get mad because I say kind men. Because I can't give you a complexion. I can't give you it does, man. I don't,
because it's something that this big, I mean.
All right, guys, well, keep creating space, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Oh.